These combined elements make my style knife throwing into a legitimate martial art. They're made possible by the very simple grip and release methods that I've developed. So now I'd like to briefly introduce you to those things.
The thing that I'm probably most commonly asked about is the knives that were used in the video. Now, except for maybe some of the custom equipment that I showed you, there's nothing special about any of those. I really don't use any of them anymore. I'm also asked about the use of improvised weapons. My feeling is that it's good to learn to throw improvised weapons, by which I mean screwdrivers, scissors, and so on, because it builds skill, but those things aren't likely to be there for you in a survival situation any more than a loaded gun's going to magically appear there for you. So if you're going to use weapons, you're going to have to carry them, and the best weapons for a variety of reasons are knives. Don't obsess over the balance ratio that we gave you in the main bulk of the video. That's as much an aid to beginners as anything. If the balance ratio is in the handle, it doesn't have to be precise for a more advanced thrower. Some people don't like tape as a solution for balancing knives. That's understandable. It's just a practical, short-term, temporary solution. The problem with tape is it's really, other than the fact that it's unattractive, is that it's just too bulky to make knives easy to carry. And unless you have a custom knife, such as maybe this nice knife here that was made for me by a man named Bobby Branton, the handles on ordinary knives are going to break off if you throw them. So knives without handles are the ideal solution. That's why we came up with this design here. I co-designed this with a man named Chris Kelly, who's a shuriken thrower. His name for it is the Shura knife, which is a combination of the word shuriken and the word knife. We're hoping to have different versions of this available. These holes in the blade balance it, give it that perfect balance ratio, that golden section balance ratio that we talk about. But they also have the added benefit of giving a better grip for the blade throw. This particular one's designed to be small enough to carry, small enough to be quick releasing, small enough to be accurate, but also big enough to do some damage. Just remember, you're always going to get what you pay for when it comes to throwing knives. Speaking of shuriken, Japanese art of weapons throwing. A lot of people say that what we do is very similar to a school of shuriken throwing. That's true. We do have a lot of things in common with shuriken throwers. Certainly we have more in common with them than we have with traditional Western style knife throwing. But I would say that what we do and what shuriken throwers do is really on opposite ends of the same spectrum. For one thing, they prefer these smaller weapons, such as these spikes sent to me by Huzon Suzuki, a shuriken thrower in Japan. We tend to prefer the larger weapons.
And ultimately, it is sheer power that allows a thrower to force a knife to stick almost regardless of the size or type of knife, the arm angle, or the motion and position of the thrower's body. To be a true martial arts thrower is to be a power thrower. Note, the thrower never looks at the knife or target.
This kind of trick throwing is fun in and of itself, but it also has a more serious side in that it builds skills for the kinds of improvisational throwing that makes it potentially useful for martial arts. I go into these subjects in greater detail, of course, in my book and in my upcoming instructional video. To find out more, check out my books or videos or contact me personally.